Phrankleen. Right. If you're watching me for the first time, thank you for doing so. If you're watching this as a playback, thank you for doing so. If this is your first time, don't forget to like the video. If you like what I'm about, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and select the bell button. And then when you select the bell button, select the all option so that you're notified when I'm on a live stream like this, or if I have any pre-recorded, content. All right. So, this is a segment called Say It Like It Is. So let's see who is online. It's basically a segment where we talk about eclectic topics that, if they resonate, with us as folks from the Black community, we can hopefully learn one or two things from. So I convert the topic to a live stream like this, or like a pre-recorded content. But the main thing is, if you send me your stories, I'll make sure that you are anonymous. That's number one priority. Okay, so you got nothing to worry about. Sometimes I may have to tweak the character or the timelines a little bit just to conceal the exact details of the story in the best interest of privacy and all that. Or sometimes when people make demands. All right, what's up, Boris? Hit the like button. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. All right. So, somebody said, you got a fresh hairdo, man. Got to stay fresh. What's up? Right. So, the story is fairly straightforward. I'm streaming via mobile today. Yes, it's an interesting story. So, I'm going to use certain keywords when I'm telling this particular story. I expect you to be able to read between the lines, wouldn't spell everything out completely. I believe smart people are watching me. You'll be able to, you know, deduce what I'm talking about. So, yeah. Yeah. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hey, Mr. Phrankleen. Hello, TABA. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's gain traction, huh? Sometimes you talk out of the topics too much. I say whatever I want to say. It's my platform, Taj. All right? I say whatever. Okay? If you don't like it, go watch something else. All right? Or a better suggestion, set up your own YouTube channel. You might be able to do a better job. Create content week in, week out. Tell the stories, and let's see how you do a better job. Okay? Good. Right. So this is the story, all right? Bali, what's up? These gentlemen came to the UK mysteriously. So, like I said, I'm going to use some keywords. I expect you to read between the lines. So, but before I carry on, he was married to his wife, back home in Nigeria, right? So they had a couple of kids. And then, like most people, they found justification to travel abroad, right? So I don't know what the arrangement was, but the husband was the first to travel to the UK mysteriously. Okay? You know what I mean by mysteriously, okay? So he was here for a bit. And of course, he was slapped in the face by reality, life in the UK, and all that. And he stayed with I think some relatives allowed him to stay with them for like 4 or 5 months before they asked him to use the exit door behind him. So it was pretty rough because the said relatives promised heaven and earth, oh, if you come to the UK, we're going to do XYZ for you. We're going to get you jobs like that, even if you come here mysteriously, if you get what I'm saying. So he did, and 4.5, to like 5 months, he was forced out, and then he had to go stay with a friend of a friend. Thank you, Boris, for the super chat. Thank you, appreciate you. Thank you. So he had to stay with another friend of a friend, and eventually he was able to move into what we call HMO, which was a house where you got multiple tenants and stuff. So he was managing in there, right? And whilst he was here for like a couple of years already, the wife and 2 children, also from Nigeria, made their way to the UK mysteriously. So when I use the word mysteriously, you should start, connecting the dots to sort of understand how their journey into this environment might have panned out. So he was staying like in a shared house. So now from the email, he tried to explain what that house, it was a 4-bedroom house. So he had one room to himself, which was basically the room he had to himself in that house was the living room. And then there were other tenants. Now, no, it wasn't the living room. It was the, I think he said the master's bedroom. So which was like upstairs. And then, so when the wife and the 2 children, young children, came in mysteriously to the UK, the arrangement was they had to live under the same roof. But because he couldn't afford to go rent like, a self-contained, like a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom house, you get the gist, bloody expensive. He's living within the shadow of the system, trying to survive and all that. So he was able to speak to the landlord, who's happened to be an Indian, and sort of explained. So that the Indian landlord and said, okay, there's a room directly across across the hallway, because the rules in that house was the landlord didn't want anyone with children. There are some properties like that when they have multiple tenants, occupants. Some landlords might say they want young couples or individuals working professionally, but they don't want children. I think perhaps for health and safety reasons or complications and stuff like that. So at first the landlord said, you're gonna have to move out. I can't, but he pleaded with the Indian landlord. So the landlord then said, all right, cool, there's a room directly across you. You can have both rooms, And the landlord was actually very nice, because if the landlord was going to bill him for occupying both rooms, it'll be a lot more money. It'd have gone to like £1,000 plus. Understandably so, bang in the middle of London, right? But according to the email, the landlord was very fair. She has, loads of properties across the city. So gave him a very reasonable discount, to accommodate the wife and the children that also arrived in the UK. So long and short, wife and the 2 kids arrived, and they moved into they were using both rooms. So basically, they sort of were using like the other room. He said they converted it to sort of like a living room ish. They had like inflatable bed for the kids to sleep on. So the other room would be the environment for sugar wall events with him and the wife, a bit privacy. So if anything, if they hear the children crying, they can dash across, go to the other room. So they had the privacy to do grown-up stuff, which understandably, and they carried on living in that house. Now, that was the arrangement. So you can already see that there's already like a foundation of immigration, complexity. And that's the sort of crazy price that people pay when they want to come here via whatever means, They have a blatant disregard for due process. I just want to go. I just want to go. I must also add that, according to the email, the guy back home was running a poultry business that had 22,000 layers, right? And he had a small bakery business. He was making bread. So, for whatever reasons, he decided to sell and come to the UK. Did you hear what I said? He grew the poultry business up to 22,000, layers. He would get eggs on a daily basis. Just looking at that alone, a poultry that's well run in Nigeria with 22,000 hens is a bloody good business as far as I'm concerned. A bloody good business. But A, what do I know? So he must have managed to reach the conclusion we must go to England. Now, he made good money, and then he started a small bakery whereby they were making bread. They were distributing this to, small retailers and other like high street grocery shops and all that. It wasn't doing bad. Thank you, Obodoyibo Dream. But there's always a default setting for most home-based Africans, which is the colonial damage is deeply rooted into our DNAs. That whatever you've got in the motherland, particularly for those that have built something, they must become self-destructive and throw everything down the drain and, find hook or crook means to go abroad. At least that's what I discovered in this circumstance. So, now they're here in England. Husband, wife, 2 kids. They're living in the shadow of the system. Now, over time, of course, they soon realize the complexity. I don't know how they didn't explain that bit, how they would have been able to navigate the system and have been able to get those 2 children into the local school and all that, because thorough checks would have been carried out. But I'm not going to go into that because they didn't explain that bit. So, but it became really challenging because the wife also had to depend on someone else because of the complications. She had to work. They were struggling because it got to a point where the brother couldn't pull all the weights alone. The money he was bringing in wasn't all that because the bills, pay accommodation, food shopping for 4, transportation and all that. They could barely survive. So wife had to then, some person that knows some person, help her put proposal across to some person whose legs were already established in this jurisdiction. Are you following me? So sort of like borrowed identity to survive in this environment. So I'm not going to go into the ethics behind all of this. I am just a storyteller, all right? So it was a case of a borrowed identity, if you get what I'm saying, to survive. And then the owner of the identity would agree to X amount of money and monthly compensation for the borrowed identity, right? And what tends to happen is when the one that's borrowed an identity starts to work really hard and making all the bread, sometimes the owner of the borrowed identity then get a bit malicious or desperate, because when the one with the borrowed identity would also be the owner of the bank account attached to the borrowed identity, right? So they wouldn't let go of the bank card to the borrower, right? So all the money is coming, and the one with who's the owner of the identity would see money's coming in. And let's say, for example, hypothetically speaking, the owner of the identity says, okay, on a monthly basis, I want X amount of money. Again, I'm not here talking about the ethics. I'm just telling a story. So they'd say, hey man, I want um say £250 or £300 off you on a monthly basis, as a reward for myself for allowing you to benefit from my identity, right? Now, the one who is borrowing the identity has absolutely no choice because they are existing in the shadow of the system, right? Now, what tends to happen is the one who owns the identity knows that the one who is borrowing the said identity is neck deep in vulnerability. They're living in the shadow of the system. So if I F them over, if I take advantage of their vulnerability, they can't do anything. They can't report to authorities. They could only yell and they would accept it. So what tends to happen, the pattern that's quite common is the one that's borrowed the identity would then see the monies you're making because they own the bank account. And if they say, oh yeah, give me £300 a month from whatever you're making, if you then make 2,000 plus after tax and stuff, they might turn out to be bastards and just take £1,000 out of your money, £700, £800, and you can't do nothing about it. Don't forget, both the owner and the borrower of the said identities are under negative spotlights if you're looking at this through the eyes of the law. But people got to do what they've got to do to stay afloat, right? Now, that was the situation that the woman had to deal with. Similarly, with her husband. Now, it got to a point, the owners of their said identities were basically taking jaw-dropping advantages of them, fleecing them. The wife in a month would lose close to £1,000 from working multiple jobs. The husband sometimes would lose in excess of about £900, sometimes 1,000 too. So you can imagine the frustration, financially, the struggle and all that stuff. Now, let's pause right there. Before they migrated to England now, don't forget, they had been married for years back home. They were already living. They had their differences and all that. So the email said, the wife has a fiery nature. If there was Olympics for running a mouth in the direction of her husband, she would clear the medal table. So says the email, right? So husband to, there's been a few back and forth, perhaps domestic violence. I don't know. They didn't say that in the email. So anyway, they migrated to the UK. So it would appear that the said husband has internalized resentment against the wife. What do I mean? So as they pull through the hardship that presented itself in the UK system, right? So husband found a way somehow with the help of some persons in the background. He was able to connect with some immigration lawyer and try to find his footings, right? So they filed some sort of application to the UK Immigration Department. Now, pay attention to this because it gets interesting. So, the husband excluded deliberately being the objective word, the wife's name from the application and the two children's names. Did you hear what I said? Yes, I know they have individual immigration complexity because they came here mysteriously, like I said, right? But when he was filing, at the time, I think the said lawyer said there was grounds he should put the name of, I don't know, how that would have panned out, but he put down his name only and projected himself as he had no dependents, nothing. So he gave his wife the impression that, oh, I've got your name and the children's names. In the application, he had done everything, and then they filed it to the immigration department. Normally they would have copy of like acknowledgement, letter. So they're leaving, they have their differences, they would fight, they would have back and forth, and he would say all sorts and all that. So I don't know what transpired, but it then turned out that the wife then got to find out somehow later on that he didn't put her name and the children's name. I don't know how she found out in the immigration. This was after waiting a couple of years and all that stuff. Didn't put couple of their names in the application. Yeah, somebody said maybe it was cheaper to file a loan. I don't know. But let's not forget, there's a difference between something maybe cheaper to file a loan and you telling your wife that it's a family type of application. You've misled that person. Those are two separate things. If you have to file a loan because it's cheaper, your partner will definitely be aware, right? So he didn't. He lied to her. But anyway, she found out. And of course, bad blood. You can imagine the friction, right? Oh, yeah. Possibly the solicitor, but regardless of what a solicitor suggests, let's just say for argument purposes here one day, a solicitor, an immigration lawyer from their legal standpoint, they are professionals, right? Let's say they suggest it can never be a justification for lying to your partner that, yeah, an application. No, I've added you and the children to the application because I'm trying to get my head around that. So anyways, the wife found out, all hell broke loose, and she told her parents back home. She was emotional and resentment and a lot of back and forth, cat fights. I can understand. It's painful, right? So he then was yapping away like, oh, this, you can get lost, this, da, 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 all this crap you used to do back home. I don't know them from Adam. From the story, he was so confident that he would get his papers here in the UK. He told her to get lost, blah, blah, blah. So it got really bad. Eventually, he moved out of that house that they were living in. So he must have updated his immigration records through his lawyer and all that. He moved out, went to rent a room somewhere. He left the wife in that house. She was occupying just one room with the two children. He left her there. He moved out. I think the background of the story was, look, man, blah, 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 and all that. So on the side, according to the story, I think he had a brand new bird who was offering him the takings of, a brand new sugar wall access. Of course, he's moved to a new one room in a house now. So he's got this new bird that's keeping him warm under the duvet. Things might have been happening bang in the middle of winter. You dig? So and of course, that would exacerbate the feelings of his actual wife. Now, all these was I'm sorry, but so all this was going on. The woman was left in the middle of nowhere with the children, Buffalo and all that. So yeah, no, that's what, that's one thing that's prevalent in our community. The guy goes, he'll find another lady, probably that lady too is another older lady that needs somebody to, get the environment thrusted, everybody needs somebody to give them what they need and stuff. Life abroad is crazy, man. Crazy, you get, you know what I'm saying? Bang in the middle of winter, them older aunties and all that, they need a brother to do a good plumbing job. So, and she might be supplying So my foilegusi and adequate, skill set in the kitchen department and compensation going on in the bedroom. But you get the gist, right? I put that aside. Now, they cracked on with the case, things, got really ugly. So through the church that they were going, the woman cried out, and some people, I don't know how they helped her. Somebody took up immigration case pro bono, right? And the woman was also getting help, but she did not disclose the help at the time. She kept quiet. Now, this dude who was moved on felt he was like on top of the world. Then at some point, he stopped coming to look for the woman and particularly the children, because the other woman over there must have absolutely occupied his mind with excessive supply of sugar walls and, timely supply of pounded yam, efoele gusi, bokoto, things like that, you know what I mean? So, which formed a justifiable reason for him to say goodbye. Not to say that's a good behavior. He was very convinced, when Magba, where he walked, Otisha, Ayin Lombi, he was on the other side. And the woman also faced further calamity. There was some, remember, she was dependent on someone else's identity. And then eventually, the owner of the identity came up with some reason, and then they clawed back their identity and said, you can't use it no more, blah, 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 because I've got a younger person who's also come in, da, 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 da. So she couldn't use. And woman, 2 young children, guy didn't provide money. She was trapped in the shadow of the system. Anyway, the so-called church was helping her with, particularly because of the children, they would contribute, and I think she started doing hair on the side, help with cooking and do menial jobs to survive. So she was making do. But somebody was helping her pro bono with the immigration stuff. Right. So it gets interesting. A few years have gone past. So the said lawyer that took the guy's case, remember, that took the guy's case, had his own problems, because normally immigration lawyers, they are regulated and all that. So he had been penalized for some unscrupulous actions to do with how he was handling, I think, monies that were paid to him as an immigration lawyer. So he had been penalized. He had lost his practice certificate. And this man didn't know. So it then turned out that the said lawyer had his, you see, the acknowledgement letter that he gave this man at the start, that, oh, I've sent your application to the immigration department. It turned out that the what do you call it now? The acknowledgement letter was in fact forged by the lawyer. So are you following me now? So by the time shit hit the fan and everything unpacked itself organically, it was too late. So this brother then realized that, the lawyer just unscrupulously took money from several persons. He didn't file anything to the immigration department. He forged the acknowledgement letter, and he did this to numerous people. That lawyer, I'm not going to name the person, for legal purposes, was actually jailed here in the UK. That lawyer was actually sent to prison for that, because he was found out by the authorities, and then, they sent him to prison for a few years for that. So this guy, after about 4 years plus, or 5, nearly 5, found out that the lawyer just took money. He didn't do jack. He didn't do jack. He went to prison. Anyway, now, back to square one, eh? So he couldn't get a refund, and the problem is, when these type of lawyers who are dubious, when they take advantage of illegal immigrants, they know the psychology behind their dodginess is they know that you can't come out to fight. They know that you can't ask for justice. They know that you can't go to the police to report because you are here illegally. So they take advantage. There's been horrible stories of some of them, even particularly women. They will, hey, Jeremy Lower, please help me. They will ask for sugar wall access. They would, I they would take advantage of them sexually, and they get really dirty. They would bill you more than they should have billed you. They would do all sorts because they know that you can't do anything. You are dependent on them. You're desperate. You're always looking over your shoulder because you live in the shadow of the system. But anyways, back to the story. So all hell broke loose for this brother. Then the wife down the line somehow was able to get immigration breakthrough. Are you following this? She got something that had to do with a limited leave to remain. She was able to get something. The layers and hoops that she had to go through, maybe it was based on extenuating circumstances. I don't know the immigration side of things. I don't know how that panned out, but she was able to get something. Herself and the two children, they got limited leave to remain, which was good enough foundation to build on, And so he then was then trying to trace this woman to say, ni binu ni, already deleo. So the woman said, no, hell no. He's abandoned her for years. And the moment, the woman he was with that was giving him the sugar wall access, cooking for him and all that, the moment that one found out that his so-called pending application was in fact non-existent and all that, I don't know what transpired. That one kicked him out. He was back to square one, sleeping rough and trying to sleep on somebody's sofa and all that stuff. So something broke out. That one kicked him out, right? And he was trying to retrace his step. So anyway, whilst he was on one of his several jobs, there was a random immigration check one late night. He was picked up, and that was the end. Put on a flight, take him back to Nigeria. Now, of course, his actual wife, she hadn't, a typical Nigerian woman. They've moved on, but she didn't divorce him and all that stuff. So they put him on the plane. He's back. Now, he's then yelling, they're applying emotional blackmail back home. Families are putting pressure on her parents and saying blah, 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 blah. They were not using the fact that she to be more fun, like you've got baby by him. So the woman has got papers, and they were not saying that she should file to try to bring him in. But I don't even see how that's going to work. If you get deported, you get removed, they're going to take your fingerprints. They would have taken the fingerprints, and he would have been well documented in the database here. So the woman can't exactly do anything anyway. So, but anyway, the families back home were saying, oh, she has the ability to help him, come back here and all that. So the woman said her parents now mounting pressure on her, saying, oh, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. He's the father of your children. This is where the African sentiment, this is actually ongoing. File for him, or they are saying, if she can't, she should raise money to help him get established back home. Because why? He used to have a poultry, he used to have a bakery, which he sold, and they're saying She benefited from that. Do you see that mentality? So he's lost all of that. So she should then raise money for him to get back to where he was before he came overseas. Do you see what I'm saying? And the woman said, hell no. Her parents are actually at the forefront of this. They're saying she owes him that much. Okay, yeah, you don't want to be with him anymore, blah, blah, blah. Raise money for him to restart his poultry business. This is one of the crazy African sentiments. In fact, they even said, they proposed that she should perhaps also fund another form of application for him to try another country that he can possibly go to. I doubt very much, because the moment you get deported from the UK and they've taken your fingerprints, they will they will have shared your data across EU countries. I'm not sure, maybe with the US and Canada and all that stuff. So this woman is currently being hounded. Like what I'm saying to you, according to the email, this is like a major fight back home as we speak. Like families are at loggerheads. They are hounding our parents and they are calling them ungrateful. They're basically saying their daughter, I don't, based on the story, except if there are some facts and points missing, they're saying their daughter is selfish. She's used their son as a stepping stone, and she owes him. Now, there's an important information, because she said it was his idea that they travel abroad. That's one thing to bear in mind. According to the email, she said she never wanted to come to the UK. She told him that you have a thriving poultry business. Let's grow the bakery. She actually owned, like 30%, like in terms of her own investment of the bakery business. She wanted them to grow the bakery so that they can have multiple outlets. But he must have bullied his way through and said, let's get rid. I don't want Naija no more. I want to go abroad, right? So that was effectively what happened. She caved into the pressure. She followed, but they couldn't move as a family. So he came here first, and then she had to come here afterwards. So that's basically what transpired. What would you do if you are in that woman's shoes? What would you do? Let me see your comments. Let me see. So what would you have done if you're in the woman's shoes? How do people get idea that moving to the West will fix all their problems? What advertising are they seeing? Who is telling them? It's the colonial damage to the African mindset. I keep saying it. But even some of the people here in the West will come here and tell me, oh, Franklin, if people want to travel abroad, let them. Just like the last live stream that I did here. And somebody said to me that, oh, you can, if people want to get rid of whatever they've got back home and even travel blindly. Somebody actually said, oh, it's not my place to tell them what to do. I think it's bonkers. I think it's crazy. If somebody has, there are plenty, countless diasporans. Let's even talk about that very quickly. There are countless diasporans that will happily move back home if they can set up a 22,000 hen capacity poultry and even have a bakery business, because that's you solving problems. That's you meeting daily demands. This is facts. Regardless of how tarred the roads in the UK are, but people have these ideas. This is what I've been talking about. It's not for me to tell anyone how to live their life, but the fact that it doesn't matter what you build in Africa, it's never good enough The West is number one. It's the damaged minds that we have. That guy has not learned any lesson. She should move on with her life. The kids are free to build a relationship with their father, but that man is selfish and is used to have his way. Of course, she should file for divorce. Why didn't she divorce him all these years? She wouldn't divorce him. You know why? That she wouldn't be pragmatic to divorce him. You know the usual, what do you say? The toxic culture that a lot of people grew up in, sentiments, itiju, they will hound out to, like, according to the email, this pressure on this woman is ongoing. The guy's parents are now saying that she should raise money for him to rebuild his lost poultry business and bakery business so that he can go back to where he was before they came to the UK. Traveling abroad unscrupulously was his idea. The lady said she owned 30% of the bakery business. He sold everything. He didn't even give her 30% and the return on top. He was just like, let's go. But then he found a way to go alone, left some money behind, da. All he just did was left a bit of money in the bank and stuff. He was here for like a year plus, a year and a half-ish before she was able to come. His families are asking her to return him to where he was or how he was. Do you see what I'm saying? Anywhere they look, you know, of African families, yes, sir. Hold on, she wouldn't divorce him because of how society will see her. Thank you, Mbali. So her parents are basically now putting undue pressure on her, calling her all sorts of names in the book, colorful names that can't be published on here. And her father is basically, has got his foot on her neck, hounding her and saying that, okay, if you're not going to file for him to come back to the UK or try another country, you must build him a 22,000 hen or chicken capacity poultry and also buy him at least a second-hand bakery machine so that way he is duly compensated for a decision that he chose to make. This is, man, like somebody said, light was discussed in one of your most recent videos. Let's learn to be okay with not having a perfect relationship with parents. Thank you, Ruth. Let's learn to put our foot down and say no to toxicity, cut them off. She wasn't responsible for his misfortunes, so she should block them all. I would cut them out of my life. Blah, blah, blah. Did he call his mistress? What? Mistress. Mistress kicked him out. Why is it her job to propel her husband's success? Again, this is total nonsense. Is her parents getting commission? Why are they bothering her? This is Africa. She should cut communication with everyone. You see, if you ask me, that's exactly my view. Like, cut everyone off. But you would be amazed that people are not even courageous enough to say no and mentally arrive at that point where they would say, you know what, I'm going to cut them off. I'm going to take this decision. Emotional blackmail. Parents don't want to be laughed at. No one can dare, even African parents. It could kick rocks. They're not talking about the kids' care here. The man's parents are selfish, self-centered, and wicked. Bro, welcome. And I'm not suggesting that this is the entirety of African culture. We have some beautiful culture, but this is when I bang on about the toxic culture that keeps destroying us on a daily basis. These stories represent that. The email said there are some people that are connected to the husband's family that are here in the UK. Some even called from America, kàn lè ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, kinní kan, ẹ ṣáà mọ̀ pé kinní ẹjọ́ ẹ mọ bó ṣe jìyà, ṣó easy bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn náà ni, tó bá ṣẹ̀yìn náà ni, ó dáa, wọ́n ti gbé lọ lẹ́sìn, kí lẹ fẹ́ kó máa jẹ ní Nàìjíríà. Listen to that in Yoruba language. You can see that that submission is wrapped in nothing but heightened sentiment. Mi ẹ̀ àsọ pé ẹ̀yin lè jẹ́ kán gbé lọ lé, ṣùgbọ́n ṣe ẹ̀kan máa kẹ̀yìn sí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, kí lẹ fẹ́ kó máa jẹ, ṣé kó wá máa tọrọ bá ṣe bí bàbá àwọn ọmọ yín ni, ìwà ìkà ni. Ẹ̀yin ṣáà wà lọ́hùn ní ìṣe ti gbàwé. Ẹ ṣáà ti tó bá yá ń sẹ̀ wọ́kùnrin míì. So imagine that gets blown out of proportion, get exacerbated. There's ongoing battle back home. People calling from the States and telling her, oh, she's selfish. Oh, now she's got papers. Oh, definitely she's going to be providing access, sugar wall access to another man. They are even expecting her to have a timesheet of a sugar wall access. Some are even concerned about the potential man that will be pounding her in the not so distant future. I already want to buru say. We're look pọ̀ jù nínú our community wa. Tó bá jẹ́ pé mi nìyí ni, kò yẹ kẹ́ káṣọ sókè fọkùnrin mi. Ìwà ìkà nìyẹn, ẹ ṣáà bímọ fún. I'm reenacting this just so you get the gist of. Some of you know these already, man. People should mind their business. Ìjọ ọ̀nà ṣe gbọ́ kan yín lọlé, ẹ máa tó máa ní ẹni tó máa gbó yín mọ́lẹ̀ bí ẹni gbó ẹ̀yìn, bí ẹni gbáṣọ òkè, wọ́n máa kù yín mọ́lẹ̀. Ó ga ọ, ó dà pé ẹ̀yin gan ẹ fẹ́ kàn gbé wọn lọlé. Ẹ ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́, ẹ bá wọn set up nǹkan kan, bó tiẹ̀ ṣe pé poultry yẹn ni, kẹ́ fọdún kan kẹ́ fi faṣẹ́, kẹ́ kó yẹn fún wọn. But it doesn't matter though. Of course, the guy back home will definitely find some locally based sugar wall that will be servicing him as well. But that's okay though. So they're trying to police that woman's sexual, you know. If you caught these late, watch a playback, all right? She should change. Clearly, he didn't give a damn about all the dirty stuff he did to her and the kids. I'm sure. Look, let me ask you a question. Who here agrees with me that the toxic culture that we have back home, let me narrow this down, right? From Niger basis, if you're Yoruba, who here agrees with me that some of these family-related emotional blackmail and culture can be these messy? Who here agrees with me? Give me a thumb up. Thank you, Amon Yemen. Exactly. So it doesn't sound like maybe I'm blowing this out of proportion. These things are crazy. Cut them off, man. The woman, basically, there are people across the ocean, over 7,000 miles away, that are basically saying it's early days that I forgot something. The email said some of the extended family members from the husband's side said, oh, if you are a good woman, you should pack your things and join your husband. Now that's funny. Now that's funny. I'm pro-Africa, but now that's funny. If you're a good woman, you should pack your things and join your husband back home. You can't hear. Well, care to go tell her Quenny. We will tell it. You know, and yeah. I want Senwin family or Senwin or Senwin. you go, oh, you go tell you one king yum yum major, dear me. Kaya jamaa ko keg kema wa kerosene kiri adugbo. Um, uh, I'm sorry, man. Forgive me. Seriously, we do not know the meaning of family. Oh yeah, ko bata ko catalyst ko tell àwọn ọmọ ẹ ko bra àti pátá ẹ ko tẹ̀lé lọ lé ni. Kẹfọn jọ máa jẹ yín kúrà ńlẹ̀. Àwọn Senwin family or Senwin èèyàn. Man, well, basically, you know, the family, some of the family, Akpe the Farms, thank you, bro. Some of the family members were suggesting that she should pack her bag and baggages, abandon the rest of the potential around her immigration status and follow her husband and embrace the potential mosquito bites in Nigeria. Ah! Oh, man, I'm sorry, man. Oh, families are crazy, man. Yeah, you should pack your bag and baggages, you know, your pants and bras, and follow your husband and embrace the potential mosquito bites and go back into darkness, embrace the poverty in the name of love, and go down the street and chase, you know, kerosenes and firewood and suffer with him to prove to the universe that you are in fact a virtuous woman. When you die from family, being a woman, an African woman, can be tough. No, it's bloody tough, man. On a more serious note, man, it's crazy. I think the long and short is, I think karma. And you know what? Before I forget, man, because I'm going to drop the shutters on this. Do you know what's right? You see I want to add this before I go, right? Somebody said don't go. Phrankleen, you are contradicting yourself. How am I? Tosin, Olawale, how am I contradicting yourself? What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? How am I contradicting myself? Type it and let me answer you. How am I? Contradict, Skinny. In these particular, for the purposes of this particular segment, this story as they sent it to me, there is nothing contradictory. It will be absolutely selfish, inhumane, totally evil for you to ask that woman to jump on the freaking plane after what that man subjected her to. Ikalo Korea now. What do you mean I'm contradicting myself? What are you talking about, man? That's karma. Thank you for the super chat, man. That's just karma. That's evil. What kind of man, right? You know, would let's say for, you know, for argument's sake, that lawyer advises you that okay, it's best for you to do these application on the solo by yourself. Why would you lie to your wife that oh, you've added her name and the children's name? That's wicked, man. That's evil. That's just selfish. I mean, where is the sense in that? Come on, bro. That's evil. And then, because he thought he was going to get the papers and he abandoned her spitefully, and then he chased, you know, brand new access to a brand new sugar wall, and which was temporary blindness, and temporary happiness. Sorry, he was enjoying that, and then when things went totally bad for him, that woman dumped him and moved on. I thought you were pro-Africa. Now you're talking about sufferings and poverty in Africa. Why can't she go and enjoy Africa? No. Nah, I was expecting that. I was waiting for you. I thought you were pro-Africa. Number one, I am pro-Africa. Did you hear what I said? What is being pro-Africa, Tosi? What has that got to do with this particular story? So wait. If I'm correct, by your own judgment, because I am pro-Africa, you want me to sit here, a man that blatantly abandoned his wife, lied on his application, abandoned her with 2 children, chased another woman who was providing him access to her sugar wall and pounded yam and something else, right? So, because I'm pro-Africa, I should do what exactly? Tell this woman to jump on the plane and follow him. Wow. And that's being pro-black. Wow. Do you see the way some of these people think? Wow. Ìwà ìkà nìyẹn, ìwà apààyàn nìyẹn. Èmi ò ń ṣèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀. Wow. I remain pro-Africa. Thank you. So being pro-Africa means what? The woman should be subjected to cycle of abuse and violation? I hope this is a joke, Tosin. You must be kidding, man. Wow. Wow. Being pro-Africa is someone else to strip themselves of their dignity? That's being pro-Africa. Okay. Yeah. I am pro-African, pro-black, but come on, bro. That's not what that's about, man. That's straight evilness. I was saying earlier, I was going to say something anyway before Tosin said that. You know, I still love you, Tosin, as my brother or sister, whoever you are. You know, I'm in a great mood today, so I'm not going to block you. But that's a very wrong and dangerous thought process. Pro-Africa, pro-black has nothing to do with that. So now, check this out. This is what I'm saying. That it's quite prevalent in our community. You see, when it comes to this issue of immigration papers and trying to adjust status abroad, man, the amount of damage that we do to ourselves within the black community. This story reflects that. The amount of selfishness is crazy, man. Husband and wife from back home in Africa, and when they come abroad, the selfishness comes in. You become vampires. You become traitors. You destroy yourselves. It's insane. It's just plain evil. You know? These old papers adjusting, you know, our footings abroad. You become disloyal. And then some people, do you know, I suspect there is something about this story. This man, I suspect there is a possibility that a lawyer advised him professionally that for a potential, you know, positive outcome that he had to do the application by himself. But some people are very evil. The offer dash application here, he spitefully wanted to get his own papers first, hoping that the wife would become dependent on him and he could weaponize that to cage her and maltreat her and oppress her. That's what I think. I stand to be corrected. But looking at the order of things, just looking at the flow, the flow of the story, the journey, I think he intentionally excluded the wife and the children's names so that she will become absolutely dependent on him, and then he can dangle the carrot, and then he can use that to trap her and violate her. But Karma exposed his butts. Karma removed his pants and pushed him butt naked into the society, and tables got turned. Thank you. That's exactly what happened. I've seen that a lot. It's sad. It's really sad, but unfortunately, people do that a lot. Where, I mean, this idea of I mean, more phone paper. I mean, more. I gave you papers. People do it a lot. I brought you here. I'm gonna use the paper against you as a weapon. People do it a lot in our community. And then Karma exposed his butt, threw him to the pavement, threw him on a bunch of banana peels, and he crashed. That's right. And now his families have got the audacity to then say, oh, now that he has been removed, rightfully so, he should, the woman needs to save money enough to set up a poultry farm. I say block his behind, man. Only, because I can't really, I also believe in compassion. Maybe for the sake of your children, if you find it in your heart, if you feel like it, maybe if you're able to give him something, maybe you don't have to. Somebody said poultry issue. And I know, here's another thing. You and I would agree that once he gets that bread and he manages to set up that poultry back home, oh my God, he's gonna get with another woman, man. That's obvious. He's not even trying to reconcile with his wife. I don't see possible reconciliation, but he basically, there's this sense of entitlement that's been filled by his family members. If he manages to set up a poultry, she's a closed chapter. He's never going to ask for the children again. Well, yeah, Junior, you know what? That's what I said. Lawyer probably asked him to get straight. There is nothing, because we can't knock the professional judgment of a lawyer. That's their bread and butter. But check this out. If a lawyer looks at your circumstance and says, okay, based on the complexity or based on your current situation, and say it's better off that you apply a loan, so hopefully you might get XYZ, then hopefully when you get stuff, you can then be able to do XYZ to help your wife and children. Let's assume that was the advice. Why would you lie to your wife? I can't get my head around that. If a lawyer tells me that, I'm going to tell my wife. I'll probably have my wife sitting next to me whilst the lawyer is advising me. All right? And if you're a good man, if that's the journey that you have to go through, your woman would trust you enough that, okay, hopefully when you get yours, we'll be able to do this. It's just a matter of waiting, and waiting might take a few years. But you lied to your wife that, oh, I've included you and our 2 children in the application when that wasn't the case. So that woman was waiting, trusting the process. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I said, that's what I said. I think he lied to intentionally mislead her. He was hoping he would get his papers. That's why he moved out. If you watched from the start, that's why he moved out. He was able to quickly find himself, he found himself another woman who was already pounding him to dust, and he was having a good time. She was cooking him food, and he was running his mouth like a bathroom tap. I don't need you. He thought the woman would be stuck. Even whilst he was pounding another woman, he thought he would get his papers. That woman would still come crawling, and then he can carry on taking the piss. Phrankleen, he was helping the other woman to service the sugar wall so that she doesn't have to go for the delivery driver. It's the way he hurried to move out, as if he already had his papers. Oh, all sort of crazy paper story. Simon, is that a threat? Who's Simon? Let's see. What's up, man? The husband may come for you, brother needs security. Nobody's coming for me, man. Nobody can come for Phrankleen. First of all, there are no names mentioned. Come for me, that what? Nobody can come for me, man. And you follow me. If you come for me, man, Ifa would absolutely smash you to smithereens. You can't come for me, oh. If you come for me, I'll take you to Eshulalu Ogirioko. Máa mú ẹ lọ síwájú, máa ṣe tutù lé ẹ lórí ni. Máa mú ẹ lọ wájú èṣù, máa ṣá ẹ wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́ dànù. Crazy. You can't come for me, oh. Oh, come for me, oh. You can't come for me. Don't even come for me. Don't do it. Is it the same man that's begging for giveaway that wants to come for Phrankleen? Anyway, I know he's joking, man. Nobody can come for me, man. It seems the wife was totally blindsided. Yeah. Things like this happen, man. It's just that most people don't get to voice out. And when they do, they are bullied to silence. Yeah, yeah. So imagine when you, when you, Mr. Aladi, yeah. Imagine when you got families, even your parents. This is why I talk about the toxic culture, man. When they are basically saying, the parents are actually saying, you know, you must raise money to help. Are you joking? Do you know how many millions? Do you know how many millions she has to raise to even set up the poultry? And she has a sole, let's not forget, she has a sole responsibility of the two children now, because he is definitely not sending any money from Nigeria. Her father is saying, "Toba Gemini will be here. If I give birth to you, you would do exactly what you were told. You know, this." The parents back home are much more concerned about the societal pressure, their own image within the society. They're blaming her that she's bringing shame to them. Particularly her dad. He's threatened her. "I will curse you." Yeah, right. My mom would have blocked his number on my phone before me. Absolutely. If the lawyer advised him to do that, then he should have told the wife. Full disclosure was the name of the game. His intentions were clearly sketchy. Absolutely. So, yeah. So, that's all they care about, man. So, yeah. Thank you for listening. In everything the parents, it's not ask her about the children. No. African parents, man. African parents. Bro, didn't see my story sent to you a while ago. Resend your story, but I think that person meant don't tell the world your negative business. I agree with you. This is truly, look, man. Furoto Yekebu. If a dad owes now, hey, look, you see, let me tell you, this is the problem that we have as black folks. Some people will come into my inbox and then they will say stuff, "Oh, these stories that you're telling people, you shouldn't let people know." Look, man, in the black community, people die. Numerous people die of depression. Numerous women and all that. People die because of societal pressure, because of this toxic culture. Don't talk, don't indulge in critical thinking, don't speak up. Religiosity, do as you're told, stay there. You must not divorce the guy even if he smashes your head with a hammer, because the Bible says so, because the Quran says so, because I am your father, because I am your mother. Do as you're told. The premise of this is not just running, gossip related content. It's so hopefully if one person learns something, if these sessions can give a light bulb moment to one person at least, I think I would have done an amazing service to the black community. There's so many things that get swept under the carpet. You see this story that I'm telling you right now? I can assure you there are countless people within the black community that are suffering quietly. Nigerian community, Ghanaian community, women suffering. There are women with children trapped by evil partners in this country, in the US. They have nobody to help them, no shoulders to cry on. Believe me, they are absolutely snookered by their selfish partners. They haven't got money. They are trapped. They would even love to go home. They haven't got jack. The families back home are not supporting them morally, financially, or spiritually. Nothing. They are having to go. Stay there, support your husband, accept whatever jack. So, and then some selfish people would come. Yeah, some of these stories are exposing. You're deceiving yourself, man. You are actually the selfish one. Oh, you think in the white community? Oh, you think the white community is perfect? You're joking. You think the Pakistani communities are perfect? You're joking. Likewise, African brothers. Just like when I say stories, if it's my turn tomorrow to talk about men, there are brothers in this country that women, evil women, have snookered their lives, drained their finances. There are men that go through domestic violence. Some of you might not be able to comprehend it, but it's true. The data is out there. There are men that made mistakes and brought devilish women to this side of the world who have run them to the ground, fleeced their finances. Atuma doko molara, kò lè ṣe ṣe ó máa gbàgbé ní á tún jáde tì. There are men that the ultimate mistake they've made in their lives since becoming adult is amalgamating their emotions with a totally wrong woman. And the woman will run them to the ground, obliterate their finance, absolutely ruin, shatter their lives, man. Some men, they're educated in the Western system, they've gone to university, they've made money, they've managed to, get on the mortgage ladder, buy homes, and they have nice car, they got good jobs. They go and get the wrong woman. That woman brings in another man into their matrimonial bed, and somebody else pounds her to dust, gargles every few days with random dicks down her lungs, and the man must get on with it. There are cases like that. There are women who thought they were coming to the West to build a life with their men. The day they stepped a foot on that flight, there are some women, when they got abroad, they didn't know. I've said this before. For those that have been watching me for a minute, I always balance my stories. There are women, they didn't know. Because of the cultural difference, before they could understand the Western environment, as soon as they land, as soon as they land, the man gives it to her. Bang, bang. Oh, the honeymoon pregnancy. 9 months' time, she has the baby. Before the baby starts to learn to walk, before they turn 2, somebody else from the backside, the man from the backside again. Bang, 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 to dabu again. Go to mo to shama metadani. Mommy, you're doing school runs, nursery, ambition down the drain. The husband is telling you, you have 3 children, I can't pay childcare, you have to stay at home with them and stuff. She's trapped at home. He comes back, he wants the blowjob, he wants the back shot, he wants the this. It's intentional. It's also prevalent in our society that men would bring the women, as soon as your feet touch the state, bang, bang, bang. Before you raise that child, before you know what's going on, before she even understands how to get on the underground train from zone 1 to zone 5, before she goes from here to there, a second baby, boom, boom. 3 children. You start joining Mountain of Fire Facebook groups without makeup and earrings. Heavenly Lord, your name is wonderful. Your name is excellent. Your name is beautiful. It's too late, man. You're snookered. I know you will open the door for me, my Savior. In this England, it's too late. Or to come down here, you're snookered. And then your folks back home would tell you, hey, kí ló ń wá kiri? Jókòó tọ́kọ ẹ, tọ́jú ọmọ ẹ, gbájúmọ́ àwọn ọmọ ẹ. Some of you women are watching me right now. That you know that you were played. Some of you are watching me right now, man. You know you were played, man. Because again, the colonial mindset, right? The guy actually had the hidden agenda for himself alone to be able to navigate this system and enjoy the length and breadth of these jurisdictions that we live in. You are just a baby-making companion, but you didn't know it. Nobody gave you the script. Nobody gave you the script. You thought we as a family are going to the US. No. You're going to the US to make babies in the US and you are trapped. So the ambition of maybe going to university or getting this degree or chasing that career or being able to do this and this or that, No chance. Facts. Oh, crazy God. Some men are watching me right now. I'm saying it. Me or not, yeah, anybody. I'm saying it right now. Some brothers are watching me, and I know that you're burning inside. You probably don't like what I'm saying. I don't care. I don't give a toss, man. If you don't like that I'm telling the truth, go watch something else, man. Some of you women, you know deep down inside that you were better off in Africa, in the motherland. You had your own business. Okay, I know, yeah, you had there was a woman that emailed me. She had a big clothing store. She had 5 sales girls. Daily profit, nearly 200,000 naira per day. And this was about 7 years ago. Some diasporans with their British citizenship and US citizenship, they can't even they don't have the financial capability to bring home 200,000 naira per day, even in today's exchange rate. You throw all of that down the drain. Montella Comilo CUS. Odabo. You throw financial independence. You were already doing well for yourself as a strong woman. What be a handicap? Or for the plane, or down no boss England. And then you land here. We're going to the US to go and establish because of the children. Lies. Or there be one lie, let more. Those. I quit one more. Congratulations. Also, before you know, boom, 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 3 children. You're caught up in the Western system. Then you have resentment. You have frustration. I'm going to England. I'm going to the US. We're in the US. All of your Instagram profile is filled with headshots. It's me and Burger King. Oh, my blessings. Me and my blessings. My future. You know you're not happy though. You know deep down inside you're burning because you know that man has snookered you, man. Going to US. Get my green card. Green card, wo. Or to Yamadani. Some of you, 4 children. Sorry, lie, go. Commodani. I'm not saying you're stupid. You, man. It's sad. Hey, then you put multiple children in one buggy. Then you get your firstborn and all that. You're going to see the pastor. Pastor, Femi is not allowing me to do the course because I have now been the one that I'm the one who is having. I'm only the one, Pastor. I'm only the one who is having to look after the children. Of course. What do you think? The pastor is sat there. He's still dubious pastor, whilst you are neck deep in your current predicament, is sinisterly observing, your slightly protruding panty line on the side of your blue jeans now. Sister Mommy Tayo, Sister Foluke, please, if you bend over and pass me the Bible over there. It is well. You see, the issue of that is on ground. The Bible says in the book of Matthew chapter, man, shut your ass up, man. The Bible, the pastor himself wants you to turn the buggy and face the wall, give you a quick back shot in the church office, man. You think he has anything to offer you? Straight. Oh, you think I'm too raw? This is what's happening in the black community. Pastor, Pastor Ian Jeremy, Ekpele. Ọlọ́run á mú yín lára dá, ọ̀nà á là fún yín. Pastor, ẹ tú jákẹ́ẹ̀tì yín, ṣé ooru mú yín? Ẹ ṣé sà, ẹ tú jákẹ́ẹ̀tì yín. Pastor is there licking his lips. What do you think the pastor is going to do? You got 4 children or 3 children now. You're telling him, oh yeah, you've been snookered by your partner. You've realized that in the past 3 to 4 years, he's pounded you to dust and you've been bringing abundance of children into existence. Look, Pastor, the poverty is having a boner on the table. Pastor, 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 go tell what for come him, go forward, come him. It doesn't touch me anymore, Pastor. He, hey yo, somebody said, I like your content, but the constant bashing of the church is now getting ridiculous. Grace, I can block your black behind, or you can stop watching me. Let me tell you, man, I don't care what you've got to say. I was waiting for that. You people in the church, you religious people generally, you are unbelievably religious. Oh, you think I'm just doing this for cheap laughs? I am telling you, I grew up in church. I am telling you precisely what goes on in the black community. Grace, bye-bye. You've been blocked. Say hello to your pastor, Grace. What's up in that cup? I'm having a cup of tea. That's the problem with religious nut jobs. Do you know how many people? Do you know how many people? All right? Do you know how many people that they've taken advantage of? They will come here defending nonsense. Man, please walk away, man. Who cares about your feelings? Go and be in the shoes of vulnerable people that have been absolutely cornered and they have nowhere to turn to. Go and ask them about their realities. I've lived on the side of the world for about 20 years of my life. Oh, I can sit down and give you stories for days, for hours. Whilst I might present it in a manner, this is the harsh reality. Do you know how many churches that women who are genuinely, they don't have food because they are financially crippled. They haven't got papers. They are trapped in the shadow of the system. Do you know how many of these religious nut jobs that women will go to and say, Pastor, I haven't got money and my children don't have any food in the fridge. There's no milk. There's no cereal. 9 out of 10 times, they take sexual advantage of them. Bend them over, slide the knickers to the side. You dummies. If your skin is burning because of what I'm saying, do you know the number of pending cases of pedophilia in the Catholic Church, in the Pentecostal churches? Go and sit down, man. Put your emotions on the shelf. Let's do critical thinking. This is one of the things that's fundamentally wrong with black folks. You love your gatekeeping business. This is not about bashing church. I'm telling you facts about life. Do you know how many cases? Go online and go and research. Do you know how many cases of pending, covered, concealed pedophilia, abuse in all these institutions? And it's not limited to churches. Let's be clear. Such dummies, man. So you think, and that's the problem, because they will come to you and say, oh, yeah, because what? I practice Ifa because I'm into African spirituality. Have you ever heard from any sensible, well-meaning practitioner of African spirituality that says, oh, because somebody is practicing African spirituality means, oh, for those that are into African spirituality, there are no pedophiles in there, or there are no crooks, there are no thieves in there? So don't try to mudslink, because I would kill you with critical thinking. Stop doing that nonsense, man. Have you ever heard me say, oh, because somebody is into African spirituality means everybody practicing African spirituality, oh, it means, oh, they're absolutely perfect. They're angels. Their feet don't touch the ground. Stop. Come on, man. Don't be silly. Don't be ridiculous, man. It's very dangerous. It's people like you with this type of mindset that sit on the board of those churches that sweep the truth under the carpet. One of the GO has $200 million personal wealth secretly hidden away, but the congregation is dying of hunger. Of course. Jay Constreet, nobody's talking to you, man. The The people that the children that were violated within all some of these churches, man, they are some people's children. Would you be saying the same thing about the church if your child within any of this church was subjected to abuse? Will you come here to say the same thing? Limu said, thank you for the super chat, man. Here we go, man. Miss T. Bryan, there is no way I'm going to give my life to any Jesus. I'm a proud practitioner of Ifa African spirituality. I'm a proud black man that emanated, whose bloodline emanated from Oduduwa land. I am fully initiated to the order of Ifa. I had my full initiation back in July, and it was life transforming. So when you bring the Jesus narrative, man, I just want to give you a hug because you need help. But I love you anyway as my black sister. Don't try that with me, man. You're wasting time. It's like throwing water at the rock. You're not going to get anywhere. Hmm? Ah. Oh, the Christians want me back. They can have my black behind, man. The word Jesus wind Phrankleen up so much, man. So yeah, anyway, that's me done. You know, it's not about these, but these idea of you don't want the truth. Do you know how many people in churches? Do you know how many black people in our community that suffer in silence, victims of abuse? They're suppressed. They haven't got money to fight. They are already geared to defend their GOs, even if they catch him on top of their children. My goodness. Thank you, Michael. A friend of mine is in that situation. 4 kids now, no work, depends totally on the husband. She was even asking me if possible for her to make £800 a month by working 2 days a week. Imagine. It was nice to have digressed a bit, but the point I was making, before I was rudely interrupted by religious nut jobs, again, is there are plenty of people that they left Africa thinking they were following their men abroad to build so-called empire together. On my debut, on my Kobo, they have children and they are snookered career-wise, vision-wise, financially. They are stuck with children. I've seen women, whilst their breast is still licking, it's not even dried up. These one has not finished dealing with the breast milk. They're already pregnant with the rest, with the other ones. Some of these women, the men would tie them down and tell them not to use any form of contraceptive because of religion said X, Y, Z. But they want you exposed so that the tiniest drop of sperm, bang, bang, you get belly, you get, filled up and you procreate. Go and ask those women and hear their narratives. And before you blink, you're 4, 5, 6, 7 years deep into the system, nothing. You can't even say you have £1,000 in savings. And then when the man is tired of you and he thinks he's done with you now, he'll go and find another woman. You are stuck with multiple children. You're filled with resentment, understandably so. You are very angry. That's when some of them turn to blame all men because it's painful. Those children start to grow through teenage years. You can't cope alone. Emotions. Even some of the children have resentment. They have behavioral problem because they don't have father figures. They can't even listen to the mother alone. To make it even worse, at a very tender age, they pick up criminal records. The mother's blood pressure is up there. These are the harsh reality in the black community. Some of you that are too blinded are busy gatekeeping for your religious institutions. I hope you find the light someday. You think Phrankleen is your problem. Don't share it. You're not ready. I know of a guy with mental issues, went back home, married a beauty, and claims he doesn't know anyone here in USA from the country. The guy is well known, drunk in the community. She has no clue. Seeker of the truth, say it like it is, but Wilson told her I couldn't waive bank account without papers. Thank you very much, Phrankleen, for saying my mind because I'm sick and tired of black beliefs. So, someone say hello from church is a physical building, but church is not God. No, pastor is to be worshipped as God. Oh, please tell that to black folks. Some churches and the actions of some pastors have given Christianity a bad name with their wickedness. They are unbelievably religious, ridiculous, and I've seen stories of women. How many times have you seen black women that they are breaking her head open? She's bleeding blood. The man is violating her. He has multiple girlfriends. She's clearly, blatantly suffering. Somebody within the black community, yeah, the Bible says a man and a woman, when the Lord joins, they're not bothered about the mental well-being. You must remain. You do as you're told. You hear things like a delay. This woman is getting battered every 2 days. She has a black eye. The pastor sits down there. I understand. The Bible says, look, I would talk to him. You need to, be submissive. So support your husband. We will work together. The men's fellowship. You are crazy. How many of you women, you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking on your behalf now. A woman like you, this is what I'm saying about women. Have you noticed? I'm actually speaking about your plight. Women like you are here. They are not interested in that. They are ready to die as gatekeepers of religious institution. Do you see how the mindset is warped? You see, again, I think you are absolutely barking mad. If you don't like the fact that I'm a proud practitioner of Ifa, I'm into African spirituality, but there is a madness that ignites in your skull that makes you come to my channel and still watch me. You are barking mad. If you think you come to this page and you would try to force your Jesus down my lungs, you've lost your goddamn mind. The question is, why are you watching me though? What do you think? That in itself reeks of narcissism. It's madness. Well, you think you might be able to change me? John Chereni. Change me. You want to change me? You don't like me. I'm not even forcing anybody to be a practitioner of Ifa. I can tell you about my journey, but you have resentment towards Phrankleen, maybe because of my beliefs and what I'm aligned with. But you just come here still. Oh wait, you like me? You like these melanin? You find me sexy? All right, all right. I didn't see it that way, you know. Oh, you think I'm gorgeous? Oh, thank you. Well, forgive me. Please. You. Jagun jagun on Casey. Hey, you know what, man? Religiosity aside, spirituality aside, I am pro-black. I love my people, man. The problem is my people would turn against me and they'll come with their religious baseball bats and they want to beat Jesus into my lungs, and that's where the problem starts. Don't do that. But anyway, that's me done. Smash the like button. Smash the. You should, Phrankleen, tell us about your journey to Ifa. Do you want to hear it? Lise said, tell us about your journey. Who wants to hear it? You want to hear it? I might make a content about it. Talk to you about African spirituality, my journey. Talk about my initiation, Uh, this one said we don't. Oh, I'll talk about it so that you can. Jesus came into Africa in the blue jeans at colonial times, and he had on Ray-Bans glasses. All right. Let me say Babala. Oh, somebody said no need. I'm going to talk about it. And another thing you should understand is I say whatever. This is my platform. You don't get to filter me. That's the brilliant thing. And if you don't like it, you can go watch something else. Please do a content about your Ifa journey. Of course. I'll find time to do that. Well, also, what made you leave the church officially? Ha! Gang gang. Those sing. Leave the church officially. Gang gang. Heavenly Lord. We'll talk about it some other day, man. Please share the story of your journey to Ifa. I definitely will. I will. I'll work on that and I'll find the time, man. I'll find the time, man. I'll find the time. I'll talk about it. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate the love and support. Listen, pro-Black, pro-Africa, okay? Don't bring religious karate chops to me. I love you anyway. My calling is to emancipate my people. You dig? It's not, you know, we have a lot going on for us, man. In fact, we have a lot working against us. You dig? So, but hey, I will very soon. I probably will do it this way. I will set it up as a premiere for like almost a week's notification so that people are aware. You can see it, and I'll kind of promote it a little bit. And yeah, I'll just talk about my journey, man. Up until it's brilliant. If I let it, man. If I told you anything, if I sort of die, if I read me, nothing supersedes Ifa. Ifa is amazing. I like you, Phrankleen. We need people like you to educate African people. Make it. Of course, I'll make it live. I'll make it live. Thank you. Somebody said I want to debate you. No, you're not going to debate me, man. You see, Ahogany Group LLC. What you will do, you go and set up your own YouTube channel, all right, and put out your own knowledge into the universe. I'm sure if you're good at what you're doing, you build your own following. You're not going to debate me. I'm not going to let you. You dig? You dig? You are not going to debate this sexy brother. You are not going to debate me. Da, 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 da. Thank you very much. I absolutely appreciate the support. The likes, the set of eyeballs, the eardrums, the watch and support me. And I will most definitely catch you in the very next one. Peace and love, man.